Welcome to the Osteology Barcelona again. Here we are live in this morning session where you're going to have a discussion with members of the scientific review and the review grants, and also some former members that receive osteology grants. And to start, I'm going to talk with two former recipients of osteology grants, Dr. David Wu from Harvard Dental Medicine School and Dr. Ludovica Parisi. And to start with David, I know you have more like a clinical background and you received the grant recently. So can you give us like some insights about what you believe make your application successful?
I'm just testing. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is David. I'm currently finishing my periodontology training at Harvard School of Dental Medicine and finishing my Doctor of Medical Sciences. So it's a nice combination of clinical practice and scientific research. And I think what makes grant stand out or successful, there's several different components. The first component is your overall vision and scientific contribution to the field. You know, is there a field of oral regeneration that you truly want to contribute towards? In my case, my research focuses on the impact of mechanical properties of extracellular matrix and how that can fine-tune stem cell behavior and how biophysical cues and biochemical cues can interact together to further boost tissue engineering. So the vision is number one. I think supportive learning environment is another important aspect when it comes to who was your mentor, who was your research advisor, because as a junior researcher, I think it's really important to have people who are very experienced, who are your mentors, and who can show you the way towards a successful project and also long-term scientific career. So mentorship, and in terms of facilities as well. When you're trying to do research that's impactful, that's innovative, you need an environment that can support you through facilities, high-level imaging, microscopy, sequencing. It's all a platform, so the environment is important. And at the end, I think having some research experience is also important as well when you're thinking about, can you finish this project within the 1-year time frame that's proposed and achieve all the proposed aims? Thank you.
That's a tough part, yeah. So, Ludovica, you are a different situation than David because you are not a dentist. You are basically a basic scientist. And what is, in your point of view, like having a different background, what made your proposal to be successful to getting the Young research grant?
So thank you, Thiago, for the question. So as you rightly say, I'm not a dentist. I'm a biologist, so I have a completely different background. What I think that made my application successful was, first of all, the fact that I was at the beginning brave to apply for an osteology scholarship. So this helped me to enter in this field of regeneration. And there, during the scholarship, I think that I started to work in the right environment and to find the right person around me that helped me then in developing my grant. And I think that another important thing is, of course, first of all, the environment, but also the fact that I was really passionate for what I was doing. And the important thing is that I move a little bit. So before I was really working in bone regeneration applied to dentistry, and now I'm more focused on cleft. So this was a completely different topic for the lab where I was working, so bone regeneration. And I think that we had a good combination of you together with my boss. And in the end, we were successful. So this is very important, I think, the environment, the mentor that you have, and of course also being passionate. And this, I think, I will continue on this.
That's good, thank you. Yeah, so now I'd like to have some input from some of the members of the board that do the scientific review. I'd like to call here with us Dr. Jia-Hui Fu, former colleague from residency, and hello, Dr. Fu. Dr. Fu, so as a member of the review board, so can you tell us some of the red flags that you can see on the application that may not be a successful one?
Okay, so usually when I see the application, I would look at the main idea, right? The idea behind the project. Then I go on PubMed and I actually search for something similar. So if it's a similar idea and it's already published, then to me it's like a no-no. And as you read through the application, if the language is confusing, it doesn't seem to have organized thought process, so I don't think it's a very good application. So usually that would be a direct no. Yeah.
And changing gears here, like, so you talk about some red flags. What about like an application that when you read, you feel like, oh, this is a really good one? What makes an application stand out for you from the moment that you're reading?
Wow, okay, so maybe one would be good English, good organization, and the idea is innovative. So something out of the box. You know, like usually because we keep track on publications, right? And what are the usual trends in the field. So when you read something different, it stands out. Yeah, so then that would be a good application. Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your very good tips on it and to mention all the red flags we can have. So I do have another question for David. You know, when we produce, let's say, or writing the proposal and everything, we have also to consider the budget, right? Because everything needs to have funding. So, I mean, was at that time when you received the project, the budget sufficient, or had you like additional funding from other sources, or how did you manage?
That's an excellent question. I think there's a couple of things to consider really in this situation in terms of funding. Of course, a lot of the research in the space was based on previous funding from National Institute of Health in terms of R01 or K grants. And based on that, we're really able to develop fundamental knowledge in the space. And my project is really looking at a particular subset of mechanical behaviors and stem cell behavior and try to apply it into clinical arena. So for that specific part of the project, we basically reverse engineer it. What is our end goal was the publication and what kind of contribution we want to make to the field. Reverse engineer it in terms of putting together a Gantt chart, specific timelines, and then based on the experiments, reverse engineer the budget. So for that specific project, the budget was sufficient, and we were able to, really do a nice job with the project, and now it's work that's been published. And I wanted to acknowledge the Osteology Foundation for the generous support. So thank you very much for the invitation.
So I'm very happy that it was sufficient at the budget.
Yeah.
So I just switched the side and I asked the same question more or less for Roberto. Because, when you receive all these different proposals, so what do you think about the transparency about the fundings? I mean, there is also something you maybe look at when you see it?
Thank you, Anina. Transparency is for sure an important aspect when presenting a proposal and can truly make the difference between an acceptance and a rejection. Multiple fundings are the issue, and multiple fundings are an additional option an additional possibility for the applicant, but can also make the difference because they expose the applicant to potential rejections by the reviewer if this aspect is not managed properly when they are presenting the proposal. I can see this issue in two specific scenarios. The first is the applicant that serially presents his proposal to multiple funding entities. In this scenario, which is totally legitimate, I encourage the applicant to declare this in the proposal and his intention to present the proposal to multiple entities in order to exclude the possibility of a duplicate grant. And in addition, I suggest to the applicant to prepare to the possibility to receive multiple fundings. So he must state in the proposal that he will renounce, this is one possibility, he will renounce to one grant over the other, or alternatively, he can open new possibilities, expanding the goals of the study implementing the follow-up, the sample size, or adding analysis. The second scenario is a research proposal where the osteology grant covers only a fraction of the whole budget, while other fundings cover the rest, the remaining portion. In this case, the applicant must be very explicit and very transparent in his proposal, and I encourage to cluster the common parts in over, let's say, work packages that have a common aim and purpose, and link this common aim and purpose and work package to the funding entity. This will increase the robustness of the proposal, the flexibility of the proposal, and obviously the transparency.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. You made it very clear, and yeah, I think you helped us a lot for the next project, let's say.
Hope so.
So, Professor Jung, now, it's everything about the time, right? So, you know, when we write the proposal, at the very end, you have also these timelines. So that means when you are preparing your project, you have to think in a plan. So this will have so much time, for example, for the patient recruitment, and then I need some time for this and that. I mean, for me, sometimes that's really tricky. So how do you do that?
To be honest, I do not always finish my project on time. The most difficult part is dealing with the unexpected events such as adverse healing reactions or errors in methodology. Dealing with this problem is very time-consuming, especially after the project has already begun. So this is why you should always perform preliminary pilot studies to become fully prepared for the main experiment. For example, in preclinical studies, you should consider how to control the animal's behavior, such as dogs biting on cage bars or pigs having poor oral hygiene. So you have to consider during the main experiment period. And another element of staying on time is building a well-organized research team. As you know, research can be done alone. Principal investigators plan and manage the overall project. Researchers and lab assistants do the administrative works as well as analyze the result. And the statisticians are also needed. Lastly, you should go ahead so that no time is wasted in between. It is important to set your milestone and follow them strictly from getting approval of a local ethical committee to performing the main experiment and preparation of the manuscript.
Yeah, thank you very much, because you were somehow on both sides, right? Because you are at some point you write the proposal, but then you are also on the other side on the board to evaluate also like the time-wise how it was prepared. So thank you very much for this advice and for the insights. I think it will help in the future. Overall, Thiago, do you have some other questions?
I'm good.
No? So thank you very much. I think we spoke a lot about proposal, how to prepare, and from both sides. So we had a lot of insights. Thank you very much being here.
Thank you.